but he's really Scarlet Witch and Vision's son. Kind of. More on that later. Forgot about that, didn't you? I didn't. And later always comes to call. Massive spoiler warning ahead. I will be talking about WandaVision, everything up to and including the finale. So if you haven't caught up yet, bro, what the heck? This is your last chance to run away before I talk about it. Anyway, we've all seen Billy and Tommy now. Last we see them, they're 10 years old and not exactly real. Or are they? Maybe. Tommy showed off his super speed and Billy was a little magic man, just like Mom and Uncle Pietro. This is already where we deviate from the comics. On page, Billy and Tommy Maximoff were really magical constructions Wanda made using 2 pieces of Mephisto's soul. They'd only been around for 3 years before Mephisto came back for his soul, and never really showed any powers. On screen, they're not related to Mephisto that we know of at least. They were constructed inside the Hex like Vision, so they seem to have just been made of chaos magic, basically. Once Wanda closed the Hex, they were gone. For now. The post-credits scene showed Wanda studying the Darkhold. While reading, she hears Billy and Tommy's voices calling out for help and jumps into action. I think it's safe to say this is where we get to Multiverse of Madness. In the comics, after the Mephisto incident, Billy and Tommy were reincarnated to new families. Billy Kaplan was the first son of 3 born to a Reformed Jewish couple, which also makes the codename Wiccan even funnier. And Tommy Shepard was the only child of a now divorced couple and is also a delinquent who spent many a time in juvie. Wiccan was one of the founding members of the Young Avengers in 2005, alongside Iron Lad, Hulkling, and Patriot, while Tommy, codenamed Speed, was recruited in Young Avengers issue 10. Upon meeting, the two did immediately notice how similar they looked. This led Wiccan to believe that he and Tommy may be the souls of Wanda's twins transposed into new bodies. Following the Civil War, the two decided to search for Wanda, who, after remembering her twin sons, had gone insane, killed some Avengers, and disappeared in Avengers Disassembled. While they didn't find her the first time, they did try again and found her with Doctor Doom. In contrast, it seems like Wanda may be the one finding Billy and Tommy in the MCU. She's confirmed to appear in Multiverse, and given the urgency of the post-credit scene for WandaVision's finale, I think she'll be working hard to find her boys. One thing to note, though, the boys' age. Wanda may somehow be the cause of the multiverse, or uses the multiverse to find them. All the Young Avengers were around 16 when they first joined, so reincarnation may not work like it did in the comics, given that Stature right now is 16 in the MCU. However, it's possible that Billy Kaplan and Tommy Shepard will be brought into the MCU from the multiverse. This would explain the opening of the multiverse and why Doctor Strange has to fight, presumably, Nightmare and possibly the rest of the Fear Lords. It is of note, though, that Scott Derrickson, who directed the first Doctor Strange film, was the one to mention wanting Nightmare, but he has since stepped down with Scott Raimi taking over. As such, we might not be seeing Nightmare specifically. They'll likely continue with Baron Mordo's storyline, plus with Wanda and the Darkhold in play, the potential is there for Chthon. Wanda could also just be there so that Doctor Strange can teach her how to use her magic. This could lead to, instead of Kaplan and Shepard, getting Billy and Tommy Maximoff back if Wanda is able to recreate them without the Hex. Almost certainly, if she can use that kind of power, we'll see other malevolent forces coming for her. That could lead to the main conflict in Doctor Strange 2. Once again, these malevolent forces could include Chthon. I think that's an interesting idea. It would explain the Darkhold's history and introduce the Elder Gods. They're basically the Lovecraftian horrors of Marvel, so they're perfect for Multiverse's horror aesthetic. Plus, they'd be a way to introduce us to the Demiurge, being his first offspring. Demiurge is basically the living embodiment of all life on Earth, and is also Billy, kind of. Anyway, no matter who Doctor Strange has to fight, it looks like we're being pulled towards the Young Avengers. The lineup, as mentioned before, started with Iron Lad, Patriot, Hulkling, and Wiccan, though at the time Wiccan was called Asgardian. Then they very quickly were joined by Kate Bishop, Stature, and Speed, as well as a complicated new version of Vision named Jonas. Some of these may sound familiar, and they should. Not only are the Young Avengers just great overall, many of them are also slated to be introduced into the MCU soon. Cassie Lang is already an Ant-Man, and given her recast between Endgame and Quantumania, they may be on track to give her powers as Thatcher. King the Conqueror is also supposed to be in Quantumania, suggesting Iron Lad's arrival. Kate Bishop is one of the main characters for the Hawkeye show and Clint's protege. Eli Bradley is rumored to be part of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and America Chavez is also set to be introduced in Multiverse of Madness. She wasn't a Young Avengers until 2013 in Volume 2, but that doesn't mean they can't throw her in there now. She could also mean we'd see the Teen Brigade, but I really doubt that. Not to mention that Miss America's whole thing is the star-shaped portals that she can use to travel through the multiverse, so it's only natural that she'll be in Multiverse of Madness of all of them. But back to the twins. All things considered, we need a way to bring them back already as teens. Given both Miss America and Wanda appearing in Multiverse of Madness, I could see maybe full-fledged Wiccan and Hulkling showing up with Miss America from another universe. TLDR, I think Billy and Tommy are coming back soon, likely from another multiverse, either via overpowered Chaos Witch Mama, or alongside a 6-foot-tall Latina lesbian, and I love both options.